Bulginaka, do you know that cybercrime is becoming a growing problem in Fiji?
Cybercrime is defined as a crime in which a computer is the object of the crime, such as hacking and spamming.
Cybercrime is also cyberbullying and using fake profiles to cause panic and spreading false news.
If you're involved in this or know anyone who's committing these crimes, report them immediately.
I'm Polly.
And I'm Peter.
We host the Traffic Jam Show on City FM.
From 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. every weekday.
Do the right thing.
In this bulletin, AstraZeneca vaccine misinformation a concern. Diabetes a common cause of kidney disease. And pulse oximetry testing.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Atera Lendua.
The misinformation being spread on social media in regards to the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccination is concerning. This was raised by the UN resident coordinator Sanaka Samarasina, who says this poses a challenge not only for them but also for the Ministry of Health. Felipe Nakaso has more.
The United Nations team in Fiji will be looking at having Talano sessions with village headmen, businesses and the public in raising awareness on the safeties of the COVID-19 vaccination.
You know, people who would stop me and ask me for information and voice concerns, and so the sooner we get clear messages out to people to educate them and to, of course, also make it easy when the vaccines are being rolled out.
With more doses expected to be brought in, the UN resident coordinator says Fiji does not need to worry about buying the vaccines as they have many donor partners willing to assist. The way Fiji also handled the COVID situation right until the vaccination program continues to be praised.
It really is an amazing story, and I'm in some ways not surprised, but I'm disappointed that Fiji and the Pacific countries that have managed to contain COVID for so long have not got the credit, and people have not learned the lessons from these countries.
Another area the UN will be working closely with the Ministry of Health is ensuring those living with HIV and AIDS are vaccinated.
To the people living with HIV, with all the vaccines that have been approved by WHO, it is safe for them to use.
The vaccination program for Fiji will continue to be supported by the UN. Felipe Nakaso, FBC News.
The self-registration for the COVID-19 vaccine is only for adults aged 18 years and above. Ministry Head of Family Health, Dr. Rachel Devi, says once they're assured that the vaccine works with the younger population, then they will move in that direction. Dr. Devi says pregnant ladies can also register so that the ministry can have the data, however, they will not be vaccinated. She says the vaccination against the COVID-19 virus is voluntary and registering is not consenting.
Safe amongst women lactating. So if women are pregnant right now and they in that breastfeeding stage, we definitely can offer the vaccination. But in the interim, we're keeping it away from our pregnant women, yes.
By far the most common cause of kidney disease in Fiji is diabetes. Nephrology specialist Dr. Anis Taid says kidney disease is a major problem worldwide and is increasingly becoming more and more recognized. Dr. Taid says the second most common cause is high blood pressure, adding that the combined results is in the vast majority of those who have kidney disease. He says a lot of the work they do in terms of preventing kidney disease from progressing is ensuring people's blood pressure and diabetes is well controlled, and a strong emphasis is placed on dietary intervention.
Best statistic that we have estimates that the national prevalence in Fiji is somewhere between 13 to 14% of the general population have some degree of kidney disease, but up to 90% of people within the public are unaware of having kidney disease, because kidney disease doesn't usually result in any symptoms until it's very late stage.
The Sai Sanjivani Children's Heart Hospital in Nasese, Suva will be introducing pulse oximetry testing to detect congenital heart disease in children from birth. Hospital Director Dr. Krupali Tapu says the test checks for oxygen levels and can help identify if a baby has a serious heart problem that may not be obvious in the first days of life. Dr. Tapu says the non-invasive procedure is mostly conducted in developed countries such as Australia and the United States.
I've worked in Australia for many years as well, and certainly all babies on discharge have pulse oximetry done. If their oxygen levels are low, they go on to have an echo or a scan of the heart, and quite often you might pick a baby with congenital heart disease. That's another program that we do on a rollout once the hospital starts operating at good capacity.
The increasing rubbish brought in during high tide is a challenge for Suvavo villagers. Turanganikoro Beretindumaru says he is the 5th Turanganikoro who has tried to address this pressing issue. Dumaru says rubbish that is swept ashore include empty bottles, plastic, rusted tins, used diapers, and this is cleared by the villagers during their communal work every week.
Our shores are always flooded with rubbish, especially during high tide. We are a traditional village that is situated next to the capital, and this is what we had to go through on a daily basis. Sometimes we are at risk, our children are at risk. It is severely affecting our coastline, especially our food source.
Deforestation is still prominent in Fiji and urgent action is needed. This is the focal point of the President, Major General Retired Chochi Conrote's speech during the World Forest Day celebration at the State House this morning. Conrote says Fiji has so far lost at least 4,000 hectares of land to deforestation, and this is why the Fijian government is advocating on the 30 million trees in 15 years tree planting initiative.
Native trees are well adapted to climatic and soil conditions in Fiji, so they are particularly valuable for reforestation, and they provide many of the forest products and ecosystem services we often take for granted.
The youth are reminded that their passion in the fight against climate change is critical in addressing the threat faced by Fiji and other Pacific Island countries. Speaking at the closing of the National Youth Summit, Minister for Youth Pravin Kumar says their ideas are vital in ensuring the country is able to mitigate the harsh impacts of climate change.
We have a better understanding of how and why climate science tells us that less than 10 years are left for the world to make a real change.
Up ahead, Ranandi walks a few seconds to breaking a record. And Girls Rugby League starts next week.
Oirna ngone no de nunu enda bisi ni mataka.
Mersi sunga da kena loma dina kena mikron.
Sakena ngau na mitaro bina no na baksa ngai ka wala loma takina ngone. Dalabina oya o meliki.
Bulre oya o Samuel Samuli.
Nama kikira enda be mataka.
Oniti kena makarombuka.
Ni wai tiri kalima na miniti me ono kina tiri na kaloko. Ena Radio Fiji One nandomo ibiti.
Pinda na mataka dan ramai na singabo.
Yasawa High School's Vesi Ranandi broke the first record of the day at the Lotoka Zone Intermediate Girls 1,500 meter race at Churchill Park in Lotoka. Despite having to walk a few meters to finish the race, Ranandi was able to clock a time of 5 minutes and 49.42 seconds to beat the old time of 6 minutes and 2.71 seconds set by Vani Batakinikini of Ba Provincial Freebird Institute. Ranandi made a brisk start and took an early lead, but lost breath in the final lap and could only manage to walk and jog to the finish line.
Didn't know that I was going to break the record. I just put all my trust and faith in God Almighty, and it is through Him that I was able to win this.
The first gold medal of the day for the Lotoko zone was secured by Mba Provincial School after sub-junior girls athlete Meriani Batiki created an upset in the 1,500-meter race. Batiki clocked 5 minutes and 45 seconds to secure first place at the Lotoko zone at Churchill Park. Batiki made a surprise run past Yasawa High School's Luisa Tumbua, who was initially leading in the last 300 meters. Tumbua clocked 5 minutes and 46 seconds, while in third place was Bernadette Valeturu of Moira Methodist College, who ran 6 minutes and 17 seconds. The Fiji Secondary School Rugby League Southeastern Zone plans to kick off its girls' competition next week. This is the second time it's holding the girls' competition after its inauguration last year. A total of 7 schools have shown interest to compete this season. FSSRL President Penaya Galituranga says this is a promising sign for Women's Rugby League, creating a pathway to the main Bulikula national team.
We do the competition for the girls. Will kick off well, and the organizing committee has already set, and they already discussed every details about the competition for our girls, so that we can advocate the gender equality through sports, especially in the secondary schools. That is why we don't want to leave our ladies aside. Even the national team too, we have our Bulikula girls, so it is a good time for them to come and showcase their talents.
Fiji Mbati winger Maika Sivo was in exceptional form, securing a double to help the Eels defeat the Storm 16-12 in their NRL clash last night. Sivo's 2 aerial masterpieces, outleaping opposite George Jennings from high attacking kicks, proved the difference. Find apart from brief showers over the eastern parts and interior of Vitilevu and Wonolevu. Find apart from isolated afternoon or evening showers expected elsewhere. That's FBC News Now. Join us again at 7 p.m. for our major bulletin. For news you can trust, get the facts from FBC's TV, radio, and digital news at fbcnews.com.fj. Take care and good afternoon.
हमारे खूबसूरत देश फिजी में चाइल्ड अब्यूज की घटनाएं आए दिन बढ़ रही है।
क्यों बच्चों का मासूम बचपन अब्यूज का शिकार हो जाता है?
अपने बच्चों की सुरक्षा का खास ख्याल रखें।
उनसे बातचीत करें, उनके दोस्तों के बारे में जानें।
आज के बच्चे देश का भविष्य है। मैं दीप्ति
और मैं मोनिश,
आपके हमसफर। शामिल हो जाए हमारे साथ मंडे टू फ्राइडे
5:45 AM से 10 AM तक
रेडियो फिजी 2 देश की धड़कन पर।